Alright, this will be a set of a few videos. What we're going to be doing is replacing the motor mounts on this is a 2015 Trailhawk Jeep Renegade. I bought it in 2016 with 7,000 miles on it, and it's currently got, if I can get in there and show you, almost 215,000 miles. It's got quite a few miles on it, but it's paid off, and cosmetically it's in great shape. Plus I love the car, so what I'm going to do is try and keep it going as long as I can, which means I need to replace some motor mounts that are worn out. They're notorious for going bad on these cars anyway. Plus this one's got 200,000 miles on it, so they're definitely worn out. And then we'll do some other videos because I'm going to put new axles on it, and some other things to keep it going. We'll post that all for you. This job, there's a few different motor mounts, and we're going to replace them all. So there's probably going to be a few different videos. If you're watching one that doesn't correspond with the mount that you need to replace, just check. There should be a video for the mount that you're going to do on there. One of the things that you'll need is an E-bolt to replace these motor mounts, and I'll put a link down in the description to buy those. They're not expensive, or rather an E-bolt socket, because of course the Jeep put some strange bolt heads on these things, I assume to discourage anybody from working on their own car, but not a big deal. We'll get past that. I think that this is a job, if you have some mechanical experience, you can do. It may not be the thing to do if you've never turned a wrench before in your life without somebody who has to help you, but it's not too complicated. You do want to be careful. You could hurt yourself, you could cause damage to the car, but it's doable. We'll also put a link to the motor mounts down in the description, and I'm going to show you right now. Like I said, the motor mounts are notorious on going bad for this car, and I'm going to show you right now what some of the symptoms are. So we're in park right now, and one of the things it's been doing, the primary symptom is the motor will lurch and make some noise when I put it in gear when I'm stopped. Some of the noise and shifting gear in this car is just the 9-speed transmission, which is not that great, but some of it is definitely that these mounts need replaced. So you'll hear that. And the other thing is, if I'm in gear, stopped at a stoplight or something, it's absolutely shaking me to death, and that's the motor mounts being bad. So I'm going to put it in gear right now and see if you can tell the difference. So you probably can't see me shaking, but hopefully you can hear that there's a lot of shaking going on in this car. I'm gonna go, that's drive, I'm gonna go to reverse. You hear that? And then the vibrating starts. And then we go to park and it stops. So that's what we're hoping to fix today. It's gonna save us a few $100 that we're gonna get to spend on something else cool other than fixing our car. So if it helps you do the same, that's awesome. Like I said, if you're gonna buy the parts to do this, please use the link in the description. It's the parts I use. They work great. Plus we get a very small percentage of the purchase, which does not affect your price. It comes out of the seller's price for linking you to it, which helps us make more videos like this. We're gonna show you. So here's one of the motor mounts we're going to be replacing, the silver thing down in here. There's another one under there you can't quite see. And we're going to show you what the motor does. One of the things that'll cue you that you need to replace these. Go ahead and start it up. And put it in drive. Watch the motor. The whole motor moves. Okay, go to park and watch it, see how it's vibrating. Now go to reverse. Okay, you can put it in park and turn it off. So you can see that the whole motor moves and then shakes when you put it in gear. So we should be fixing that momentarily. Okay, first thing we have to do is take off the skid plate under the car. The only reason that's necessary for this work is that we have to put a jack to support the engine, because we're going to be removing one of the motor mounts. Only one at a time, of course. Skid plate's under here, and I'll show you more about it here in a second. It's not necessary to the car's operation. It's great for four-wheeling to keep rocks and things from going up and hitting the bottom of your engine. Pain in the butt with oil changes. And because we're going to be doing a few different motor mounts over a few different days and changing the axles, I'm gonna take it off today. I'm gonna leave it off till all that work's done. So that's one less thing I'll have to do for the other parts. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Okay, we're under the car to show you the skid plate. I was going to show you how to take it off and what size bolts you need, but I don't think that's going to do much good, because the last guys that did oil change for me here in town didn't put the bolts back in. They only put a couple, and it looks like they put the wrong ones. And I know it was them because the guys who were doing my oil change before did the same thing. And not long ago, I went and got all new bolts for it and put all new bolts and washers on it. And then I took it to these guys to get the oil changed and left, and it was rattling. And I took it back and said, hey guys, you didn't put all the bolts back in. They got it tight, but this is the first time I've looked at it. There should be a bolt here. There is one here, and there is one here. There should be one here. There should also be one here. There should be one here, here, here. There is one here. There should be one here. There is one here. There should be one there. There should be one down there and one right there. There's one here, but it's the wrong bolt. Honestly, I think pretty much all these look wrong. They're not the new ones that I put in. So I won't be going back to that place, and it just kind of underlines the point I was making about you're better off just doing the stuff you can yourself if you can, because now I'm gonna have to go back and buy all new bolts for this again, and it's gonna be even harder because I don't know what sizes I'll need, because I don't have examples to take with me since they didn't put any of them back on. Anyway, that's another story. So all I have to do is unbolt this, and this one over here. There's only 5 bolts holding this frame on for me now, and there should be a dozen or so. All right, I'll get that done and get back to you. All right, we got the skid plate off. She's right here. And like I said, it's not necessary, so I'm going to leave it off till I've finished all the work I'm going to do under there, which might be a week or two. But you can see it does some jobs. I got some rock marks, some skid marks from going over rocks and branches and stuff on it for sure. So it's good to have. It's made a little bit easier to take out by the fact that most of the bolts were missing. Like I said, nobody's ever going to give as much of a crap about your car as you are, unfortunately. So we've got like a very small bag of mismatched bolts. I'm going to set that aside. We'll get on to the next part. I took it down off the ramp so I can more easily reach what's in the hood, and we don't need it on the ramp to do this job. We're going to do the driver's side engine mount now, which you can just barely see is that shiny bolt right down in there. I'm going to take out this battery. Then we're going to have to take out this guy and the battery box, and hopefully that's it to get to it. We'll see. I'm going to take out the battery now. Of course, I'll just unhook the battery and lift it out, and then we'll see what it takes to get out the box. All right, so we pop the battery out. You can see I've had some squirrels or mice or something in here eating hickory nuts, which would have been in the fall because we don't have hickory nuts right now in the middle of the summer. But I can just lift this tray out. Trying to do it without spilling all the nuts because I'd like to dump them outside of the car. All right, got that out. So here's that piece, and then under here we're going to have, looks like 3 bolts we had to take out to remove this battery tray. So we'll do that. Okay, we got the 3 bolts out, no problem. But you see we got a clip here we'll have to undo, a clip here we'll have to undo, a clip here we'll have to undo, and we'll have to unhook, I believe, both of these to get that loose. And we want to be careful not to break anything there. Yep. So, oh yeah, I forget there's you got to push down. So you can't just pull these, you got to push down right here, and then you can pull that. And then gently slide that back, and that'll come on out. And I believe it's the same thing on the bottom. You got to push down on the back, and then you can turn it all the way out and slide these clips right on out. So that'll be loose. For these guys down here, you should be able to slide your screwdriver right in there. It's a lot easier with 2 hands, but yeah, just like that. And pop the clip loose. Now that swings out, and you can move the wire out of it. So I'm gonna do that with the other 2. And then I think we'll be able to remove the whole the whole thing. There's another clip over here, but it's actually already loose from whoever was in here last. All right, I'll get back with you when that's out. So as we get in here, there was a couple more hose or wire clamps over there, a couple more down here. Your windshield washer fluid reservoir was attached here. You can just kind of push that off. This little cable is attached here. Should be able to use the screwdriver to push that off. As you go, you'll kind of see there's a lot of stuff attached, but you'll kind of figure out what it is, and I'll need 2 hands for that, so I'll have to come back to it. You'll kind of figure out and see what it is. And also there is a ground wire here that I think I'm going to have to take off too. So the important thing with all this is take your time. You'll see where all the connections are you need to loosen up. And anytime you're working on your car, anything like that, don't be rushed. Don't be agitated. Stay calm. Make sure you have plenty of time. If you start to get irritated or find yourself forcing stuff, take a break and come back to it, because that's where you mess stuff up. All right, we lifted that battery tray out. I ended up not unhooking this ground wire because I could just set it to the side. It's one less thing to lose or mess with. But you can see there is a lot of hose and wire harness clamps in here that you got to remove. When you get underneath, here's our motor mount, almost entirely exposed to the point where I think we can get it off, except for the bolt on the far side here, which is under this little bracket that appears to just be held by one bolt here. So assuming that is not deceptive, I'll just take this bolt off. Hopefully that'll lift out, and then we can remove our brace our engine with jack, and we should be able to remove our motor mount. All right, we lifted that little bracket out. It was just the one screw that went right in here. So the bracket's out. And now we've exposed the motor mount completely. We should be able to swap it out. We're gonna have to brace the engine first, but then we'll just have to break these bolts loose and take it off. These are E-bolts again. On this side for the motor mount, it is E18 size sockets. Again, I'll put a link to get those on Amazon because you'll need that for this project. Let's brace the motor and go ahead and swap this guy out. Oh, I'm falling over under here. Now to brace the motor for this size, we're just gonna put this big floor jack under here and brace it right there. We're not trying to move it or lift it, just hold it up so we can put the new piece in. You know, it's held by the other mounts. At this point, I've already replaced the one on the passenger side, so it's solid. So again, we're not trying to completely hold it, we're just trying to get it steady and still so we can swap these things out. So that should be good right there. Next thing is I'm going to break all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these bolts loose with this little setup here. And then I'm going to take them all the way out. So when you come back to me, hopefully those will be out. As you start loosening these, just make sure your motor's not moving too much, because once you take them all the way out, it's going to be where it's going to be. If you can't get it back in, that would be problematic. All right, we'll get back with you. I guess I'll show you on the car. We got that motor mount out. She's all clear, wasn't too bad. Putting it back in may be the fun part, we'll see. And here she is. Here's the new one. And here's the old one. We're gonna have to take this stud out and put it in the new one. It's just a little Allen wrench, so that one shouldn't be a big deal. This one's not nearly as bad. It's still solid. I mean, it's still one piece, but it is pretty loose. So a lot looser than the new one. So this probably wasn't helping anything, but I don't think it was the main culprit. I think the passenger side, and which I've already done, and the rear, which I haven't yet. But this one definitely needed it, so this will be an improvement. All right, let's see if we can get it in. All right, definitely hot and worn out now, shaking a little bit. We got the driver's side motor mount in. Got a little blood sacrifice there. That's how you know you did it right. Couple lessons learned. Like I think I said before, be sure you don't cross thread these bolts. That's a big deal, so make sure your bolts going in nice and easy. Put all the bolts in loosely before you tighten any of them up, because it does give you some wiggle room to move. And then the other thing I learned on this side was put the frame rail bolts in first, because you can't move the car with the frame rail. But if you have those loosely in, you can, and the motor's not quite lining up, you can use a pry bar like this one and find some safe places and maybe a helper, and you can slightly wiggle the motor around a little bit to get the bolts to line up and go in. So that's what we did. She's all in there now. I just got to put the battery backs back on and all these wiring harnesses, and once we do that, we should be ready to go, and we'll see how she works. Of course, we torqued those bolts down. I think it was 92 on the engine side and 94 on the frame side, but you can look it up and check for yourself. All right, I think we got her back together and buttoned up. So this is all put together. I hope I get everything strapped back on. It took me a while. It was kind of miserable, mostly because it's extremely hot today and the sun crept up on right where I was working, and of course I had the motor mount off, so I couldn't move. I just had to deal with it. So I got hot. It's not so bad. So now at this point we've got this motor mount on, brand new, looking good, and that one. Hopefully everything's put back together correctly. I got something I need to return to the auto parts store for a different project, so let's go start this. And I hope I didn't put that chip in the truck. Let's go start this thing up and see if it, how it feels. Hopefully it's smoother than it used to be. Everything's reset because we unhooked everything. So far it smells smoother. Still quite a bit of vibration, but we've still got one motor mount left to work on. We've only done 2 of the 3. I just drove it to the store and back, and she's doing pretty good. If I shift to drive, there's still a little bit of vibration, but it's way reduced from where it was. And I know I still have the 3rd mount to replace on the bottom, so I'll do that probably next weekend. We'll put a video up for that, and then hopefully she should be back to riding smooth like new. Thanks for watching.